Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Driving the Wheels Off. Today, we're going to be replacing the calipers and rotors on the front of my 2001 F250. So let's get started. Before we get started with the calipers and rotors, let's go ahead and put the chocks under the wheels for safety. Now let's go ahead and break these lug nuts free before we jack up the truck. Now let's go ahead and jack up the driver's side and put in our jack stand for safety. We have the driver's side wheel up off the ground. Let's get them lug nuts off. Now that we have the lug nuts off, let's go ahead and get this front wheel off so we can see what we're working with. Now let's get this caliper off of here. I'm going to start by removing the brake line off of the caliper, and I'm going to zip tie it up out of the way so it doesn't get damaged while I'm removing the rest of the parts. Next, I'm going to remove the center part of the caliper, and I'm going to be using an 11/16 socket to remove it. To get the pressure off of the brake pads, just use a small pry bar and push outwards on both sides. Then pull the center of the caliper straight out. Now that we have the center of the caliper removed, let's remove the outside of the caliper. I started by trying to remove these bolts with a 21mm wrench and failed. So I brought out the breaker bar and ended up using a cheater too before they finally broke free. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that took a lot longer to break loose than I thought it was gonna take. Now let's get this nasty rotor off of here. And as you can see, there's a sticker right here on the front that tells you exactly which side to put this on. So this one is the front driver's side. Now let's get the outside of the new caliper installed. Now with the kit that I got, I'm gonna have to reuse my 21mm bolts. If you're interested in the kit that I bought, I will have a link in the description below. Now let's put our new brackets in, and we're gonna do the same thing in the top of both sides and the bottom of the back. Now let's put the new brake pads in and put the other one on the back side. Now put the pins in the ends of the brake pads. Now let's put the center of the caliper back on. This caliper set did come with new 17mm bolts, so let's get those installed. Now let's get the brake line reinstalled. Now we have everything back to where it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and get the passenger wheel off and get started over there. We're gonna go ahead and leave the driver's side wheel off for now so that we can come back and bleed the brakes after we get done with the passenger side. All right, so that last caliper took way too long to break loose those 21mm bolts. So this time I'm gonna leave that brake line connected to the middle part of the caliper until I get everything replaced. Then I'll take it off and I'll immediately put it onto our new caliper. Now let's get these old brake pads off of here. Take the old brackets off. Now let's go ahead and hit this bolt and this bolt with some WD-40 before we start trying to break them loose. This side wasn't nearly as hard to break free. You just got to make sure you have the right tools. Now, don't forget we're going to hang on to these 21mm bolts because we're going to reuse those on our new calipers. And after giving this rotor a couple love taps, it came right off. Now we're going to put our new rotor on. Now let's get the outside part of the caliper installed. Now let's go ahead and get these little brackets installed. And if you're wondering why I decided on this particular kit, it's because I went on a forum online of people that drive these big trucks like F250s, F350s, Chevy 3500s, Chevy 2500s, and I asked what is the best brake to have for these big trucks, especially when I'm pulling a trailer most of the time, because I have a tool trailer and I have a 22-foot travel trailer that my wife and I use quite frequently, and all of them said the same thing. So if you're wanting to get this particular kit, I will have it in the description below, and then you can try it out for yourself. Now let's get the center of our caliper put on, and let's get our new bolts in there. Now that we have everything back together, let's go ahead and take the brake line off of the old caliper and put it on the new caliper. Now, I didn't show you this in the other one, but there is this little copper washer that needs to go right in there. That time we had minimal loss of .3, which is definitely what we were looking for. If you're enjoying this episode so far, please hit that like and subscribe as it really helps out our channel. Now, let me go get my assistant, aka my beautiful wife. Before we start bleeding the lines, we want to double check and make sure that our reservoir is completely full. Okay, pump them. Hold. Pump them. Hold. Pull! And after you get your brakes bled, it's time to throw the wheels back on there and give it a test drive. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!